Thanks for tuning in to Sports by Jared. If you like the video, please hit the like and subscribe button, and please don't forget to turn on your notifications. I want to talk to you about James Wiseman and where I think he'll go in the NBA draft. I think James Wiseman will probably end up going to the Golden State Warriors. I think this is a draft that I don't think, the Warriors are going to get, a top player for the number 2 pick in Andrew Wiggins. I honestly think Andrew Wiggins is a good fit for the Warriors, and the number 2 pick, is definitely good for James Wiseman and the Warriors because they're in need of just another big man who can keep, Draymond Green from having to play center all season. And we've seen what JaVale McGee was able to do with the Golden State Warriors. I think James Wiseman can at least provide that or more. And normally you don't want to get just a JaVale McGee type player for the number 2 pick, but Golden State is in that special situation where they don't really need a superstar talent to come in to turn around their fortunes from last year. I think Golden State's major plan this year is going to be to get higher end free agents or figure out a way to get free agents on the mid-level exception to come in and come off the bench and make them a contender again. I think, Steph and Clay are good enough alone where they're already going to be a championship contender. Throw in Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins, and the number 2 pick, who I think will be James Wiseman, and they're probably back in finals contention, if not possibly even in the finals. But what works out for James Wiseman is if he goes to a team like the Warriors, they won't expect him to do much. He'll be able to control the paint on defense, blocking shots. And his last freshman season with the Memphis Tigers, he didn't look too amazing, but he didn't look horrible against undermatched opponents. He was able to dominate and play well, but against teams that were on the same level, he looked about average to a slightly above average. One thing for sure is he has the athleticism to definitely be one of the elite rim runners in the game. One thing to look out is that centers has become like the running back of the NBA. If you look at other top centers in the NBA, going to Karl Anthony Towns, Joel Embiid, they haven't really been able to affect winning like you would expect out of the top picks. I think centers have been mitigated more than any position in the NBA. They have to have great guard play in order to win. Even going back to a guy like Shaq, who's probably one of the most dominating centers to ever play the game. He only won championships with the top 3 shooting guards in NBA history, that being Kobe Bryant and Dwayne Wade. I do not want, if I was a team outside of Golden State, I'm not picking James Wiseman to lead a turnaround in my franchise. Not because I don't think he's talented, but because unless you're a 7-foot small forward, centers just don't translate to the NBA like they used to. And even then, you see that, Jordan ruled the 90s when there was a bunch of great big men, because that position, unless you have great guard play, isn't going to reach their full potential. And even if you're looking back at a guy like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who can be argued as the greatest center to ever play the game, he didn't win too many championships outside of Magic. He didn't win any championships outside of Magic Johnson and Oscar Robertson. So if I'm, Golden State, I take James Wiseman in a heartbeat because I already have an advantage at most positions in the starting lineup. Throwing him in is just like adding icing on the cake that's already filled with great, toppings. So, I'm looking to see him suit up for the Warriors next year. I think, he's shown in videos recently that he's been improving on his ball handling and his shooting, but I don't think if he ends up on Golden State, that will matter much. But if he doesn't end up on Golden State, that'll definitely help a lot. If you look at, centers in the NBA right now, the best center is Nikola Jokic, who was a second-round draft pick. So, if I'm a team outside of the Warriors, there's no way I'm picking James Wiseman outside of maybe the top 13. We see what Bam Adebayo was able to offer. And if you look at Bam Adebayo's game, he's more of a point point forward, point center, who has great defense and can defend small forwards. He's really an undersized center, a more traditional power forward. But because of the way the NBA is going now, he's able to excel in a way that, most big men aren't. When I'm watching James Wiseman, I don't see the advanced passing ability that you need from great centers that like Jokic have. I think his handle is maintainable, but if he ends up with a team like the Warriors, handling the ball won't be one of his main concerns. And I don't think, regardless if he's on the Warriors or not, that his ball handling will be advanced enough for him to be a guy who gets a rebound, takes it down the court. But what I do think about James Wiseman is that eventually he can be a guy on the all-defensive team. Giannis won Defensive Player of the Year primarily as a shot blocker. I could definitely see James Wiseman filling that role. For him to reach his full potential, Giannis might be a great comparison. He's going to have to fill out more. I've seen, Giannis was able to dominate without having a jump shot. But the thing about Giannis that sets him apart from a guy like James Wiseman is just like his competitiveness, his build, his frame, and his work ethic. So the book is still out on James Wiseman. We'll see where he'll go, but I think he has the biggest barrier to being successful.